Greetings and welcome to this 8th episode of Hereticus. And I have to admit my memory of what happened last time is a bit fuzzy, so I'm going to need your help refreshing that memory.
I think normally that's me on this group.
Absolutely.
Well, luckily I can't remember shit either.
Well, that might have something to do with the fact that we started last time with our psychotropic experience with drugs and shit,
Yep.
which was suitably horrific for all people involved, except of course for Medea, who couldn't feel a damn thing, and therefore was hauled away for some special treatment elsewhere.
Yeah.
This caused a certain amount of consternation amongst the higher up mucky mucks of the proceedings, especially the Medicae personnel involved. He really was not terribly happy about the fact that in fact Medea wasn't screaming in pain, because he, being the friendly neighborhood doctor, would do everything to help us scream.
Of course.
Creepy asshole. The only person who got out of there reasonably unscathed otherwise was Francesca, who basically decided to not fight it. Who at least had heard about this sort of thing before, and who simply allowed the questioning to happen. And of course it was still one of the most painful experiences of her life, if not the most painful. And other than that, we spent a good deal of time socializing. We read up some in the library about this cult that we believe, or at least some of the terminology that we had overheard. And we spent some time in the practice range as well. Francesca got a big crate of goodies from her order, and was basically told, you are not supposed to use any of this stuff before you would normally be allowed. But she did pick up her flamer and went to merrily roast 500,000 different small targets in the practice range. But other than that, I think mostly it was a session where we did a lot of socializing and character growth.
Yes, that's true. That was the main thing in last session, was character interaction.
We did, however, one thing. We did agree that we are heading back down to this same sector as we had been in before. And the idea was that we would give the whole thing the rest of the day, and then the next day to calm down. So maybe something like somewhere just under 36 hours probably to calm down there, because we reasoned that the bad guys would immediately go to ground when something like what had just happened, and they would hide until they felt certain that they wouldn't be killed the second they stuck their heads up.
Yes.
So we are about to head back down.
Yes, that's correct. The two other things did happen. You had a briefing with the Inquisitor herself. She was there for the hypnochemical treatment as well, and later you had a conference with her where you basically laid out your plan, and she gave the go ahead. And Tim had a thing with Trina. She basically gassed him, for lack of a better term.
Oh right, yes.
Yes, the pleasant Trina.
Yes, pleasant Trina.
I wonder why we all hate the
Yes, indeed. She gassed Tim, and apparently he didn't pass the test. as he passed out. Lastly, Accolon had a vision during the study in the library.
Yes.
If I remember correctly, he saw a pyramid. He stood before a pyramid.
I believe so. I shall just check my notes. There we go. And yes, black pyramid, black armored figure standing atop it. 10 objects float about its head. The sky was a vortex of energy.
Yes, exactly.
We have reason to believe that the artifact that we recovered from the Cathedral of the Winged Martyr several sessions back is one of these 10 objects, but we're not certain, obviously.
It's a theory, at least. So, yes.
The Inquisition's all about acting on
theories.
True.
True. And hunches, and whatever else there is to act upon.
Yes.
We like.
Yes. Okay. So when we pick up the story, I think we'll say that the downtime has ended. You've reached the point where you think it's safe to go down, or not safe really, but you've reached the point where it's ideal for you to go down there.
Yes.
And with that, take it away.
Well, I know at least Francesca is in the courtyard waiting for the others.
Question to the game master in this case. Also last session when Francesca was requisitioning new equipment and she got the care package from the sisters courtesy of the quartermaster, Accolon did also put in an order, or a request rather, for a flak vest. Has there been any opportunity for this to have been provided?
Yes.
Or excellent.
Yes.
I shall make a note of it.
Flak vests are nice.
Well, any armor is pretty nice.
Yes, when the alternative is no armor, then yes, definitely.
Yes. And that's something that bears mention, is that last time I basically explained how we're going to ignore the regular purchase of gear and the salary mechanic that Dark Heresy has, and just go with you guys requisitioning stuff and probably getting it within reason, of course.
Does that mean I can get a scope?
Yes. The reasoning being that you work for the Almighty Inquisition, and
and we're not on some outlier of a planet somewhere. We are in the middle of Scintilla.
Yes, exactly.
It might be a little harder to get these things if we were on some agri world in the back arse end of nowhere. But
of course, but you're in the Tricon. You have an actual armory and a quartermaster handling it. So
yes,
it just doesn't it just doesn't seem right that you'd have to count every Throne Guild you find and try to make it all work just to get a scope, for instance. So so that's
Mom, the very nice GM who is now probably going to kill us in 600 horrible ways.
Of course, naturally. Okay, so Sister Francesca is waiting in the courtyard of the Tricon for the rest of you.
Seeing as Tim is always up early, I imagine he would also be there.
Yes.
In that case, Accolon will appear promptly and without any reasonable delay to the courtyard as well, with his having finally got his original clothes cleaned of all the blood and dust on them, and underneath his loose blue robe, he's now got has a flak vest on.
Yay!
Okay.
Otherwise, yes, his appearance is otherwise unchanged from before. He looks glad to be back in his normal travelling clothes. Either way.
Okay. And Medea.
No.
I muted again. Well, I sort of had to because the dog sat beside me and started scratching her ear. But when she starts scratching her ear, she also stomps the ground like the bunny from. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
She isn't smart, but she's very cute. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Medea shows up in the almost pretty Sunday clothing, at least to her. It is,
Yeah, she got new
because
clothing.
She was
Yeah.
told to wear it.
Yep. That's right.
And she chose those because they were big enough to hide her weapons in
Right.
them.
Okay. Cool. So you're all gathered.
She's not walking weirdly anymore.
She's not walking what?
She's not walking weirdly anymore.
No, she's gotten used to the new footwear.
Okay. So you're all standing in the courtyard, in the shadow of the 3 towers that make up the tricorn. And as you're about to leave, which I assume you're going to, a hooded figure runs up to you. And as he reaches you,
Explodes.
no, he doesn't explode. It's clearly been an exhausting run because he puts his hands to his knees and has some difficulty speaking.
Heaving for
Yes,
breath.
he does reach out a data slate for you to take, for one of you to take. He isn't particular.
Well,
He doesn't really care
Nope.
who, just someone.
Just someone take it so I can run.
Francesco reaches out for it if nobody else does.
As soon as she takes it, he nods and he starts running again. Poor man.
Okay, well, as you were, and then he exactly he does. He is as you were and runs again.
Exactly.
Right. What does the data slate say?
It's
It might be a good idea to check before we walk out of this
yes.
place.
It's
Mo.
it's
Okay, that was legit.
so silliness just crept into the dark millennium. There you go.
I'm in the group.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm sorry.
That's true.
It follows me everywhere.
That's true. That's true.
Like Ferdinand.
No.
God help us all.
For
The way you move, John, is amazing.
Yep. For anyone listening, you'll want to listen to A Song of Tara ish episode 53 to see what this is all about. Suffice it to say, it's a hell of fun. But the data slate is a message from Trina.
Joy.
Oh, joy.
And
Right, what does she say?
it says the message. It's a tip for you guys. She mentions a nobleman who's also her informant's claim has been acting very strangely lately, and she doesn't know if it's in any way, shape or form related to what you're doing, but she thinks it might be worth checking out. And she also stresses that it's entirely up to you. You've been given the green light to handle this in any way you wish by the Inquisitor, so it's just a tip.
Oh, well, it's nice of her to share that kind of information,
Yes.
obviously. The problem is, or the point is, this nobleman probably lives in the upper
Yes.
hive, I would imagine, yes. So that has to be a decision. Do we go there first or down to the middle hive first? And I personally think we might want to check the middle hive first. That was the original plan, and then we can go from there and to the upper hive.
Does she ask in character or does she
Yes,
just
yes. That's the point. She puts this forth to the rest of you.
That sounds reasonable.
On one hand, the noble is not likely to move.
Exactly.
On the other, we are gambling that whoever we're looking for have decided to come out.
Indeed, that is a good point. Well, as I said, I'm going to leave it as an open decision because obviously we need to agree on this. And if you guys feel it is better that we go to the upper hive first, then definitely we go to the upper hive first. The problem, of course, is even if we go to the
Words.
even if we go even if we go to the upper hive, we don't actually have any kind of clearance. Well, we do have the inquisitorial seal, but that is good for getting into places, but it's also very good at, let's just say, if he does have something to hide, he will know and have hidden it. And I'm very conspicuous as it is.
Yes, yes, you are.
Well, all the more reason to go with our primary target then, Middle Hive.
Middle hive first.
Yes.
Medea, what do you think?
Sorry.
What the hell?
That's Medea's phone. That's Aya's phone going
Someone's
off.
popular.
Yeah. Well, I think she has to answer that before she. So.
Yes.
So. What do what is your call on this, or idea on this, Tim?
Well, as I said, the nobleman is not going anywhere, but our other target might, so I would suggest we go for them first.
Alright, we go for the others first.
Okay, AJ just wrote in Roll20 chat that you can't hear us. So.
Yeah, to continue. Yeah,
Yep.
sure.
And
Well,
we'll do just
with
that.
with that, it seems there's a consensus that we are heading to the Middle Hive first.
Okay. Well, you make your way down there to the Middle Hive. Specifically, as I understand it, the sector you've already been investigating.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
And like I mentioned last time you were there, this sector is mainly made up of hundreds, thousands of hab blocks containing the residence areas, really, for the workers working in the manufactorums. And surrounding this residential area is a belt of manufactorums, and even through the smog and the haze that you constantly walk through as you make your way down there, and as you move through the place, you can see as these manufactorums open their vents to let out steam. You can see the heat and the fires roaring within, lighting up the place from time to time.
So very foreboding and stuff.
Yes. And where do you? What's? You've reached the area now. You've reached the sector, and then what?
It's probably not a good idea to go back to the area right around the cathedral, because, quite frankly, I think if they have half a brain, they're not going to go anywhere near that place. It's going to be crawling with a while. So my point, or my guess, is Achelon and myself, we should go to that general area and other places where, other public spaces, open public spaces where we can be seen and where we will be noticed. And then we leave it to Medea and to Tim to do the infiltration thing and sneak around and listen and maybe even try to get in contact.
Okay. So
in less public areas, in I almost said in back alleys, but in that sort of place.
Okay.
That is at least the way I see this playing out most efficiently, because by having Achelon and myself stomping around where we have already been seen, hopefully the news of that will seep back to the people we are trying to get to, and they will know that, oh, but they're over there. We just avoid that place. Great.
Okay. Okay. So AJ, you're back, as I understand it.
Yes.
Good. Excellent. Excellent. Okay, so we'll start with you two, Medea and Tim.
Ikke så let.
Excellent.
That Tim's new nickname.
No, he said excellent.
I did say
Ikke så
excellent.
let.
Okay, so you move through the back alleys and the less public areas of this sector.
Yes, getting great usage out of my unremarkable
Yes,
talent.
that's true. And how did that work again? Do you remember? Because I don't.
Yes, well, I don't remember, but I wrote it down.
Cool.
So others get -20 when trying to discern me
That's right. Okay, cool.
in a
Yes.
crowd. Sorry, couldn't scroll while holding down my push-to-talk button.
So
It's all
yeah,
good.
basically he is the perfect infiltrator in that
Yes,
sense.
I'm only accustomed to
he
crowds.
really is. And yeah, you're accustomed to crowds.
So I can lose everyone in a crowd.
Yes.
Pretty much.
It's
I also have
It
peer
is, you
workers in Underworld.
yes.
What is it just? Oh, that's nice. Peer workers is going to be very useful in a place like
Yes.
this.
Okay, so you two, Medea and Tim, how are you going to go about acquiring the kind of information you're looking for?
That depends. What information are we looking for?
Well,
More information about this cult that we have been involved in trying to find out more about. Where, if they are still active in other parts than not necessarily in the cathedral itself, because obviously the cathedral is now,
Shut down.
pretty much, yes. And but they might still be active elsewhere. There might still be street preachers out in other parts of the district who are still spreading their awful bullshit. And obviously the point there is that you might be able to get in contact with such people and show an interest, and this sounds like something for me.
Oh,
okay.
I think, as a counterpoint to that, Tim will probably have suggested that instead of starting by initiating contact, perhaps find them and then shadow them for a while.
Excellent.
Because, well, he's not brimming with social skills.
Okay. Okay, so is that going to be your plan then? To hang around, see if you can spot these street preachers or whoever else.
Actually, I imagine that the street preachers are not that difficult to find, so maybe shadow the people who interact with them.
Okay.
And, go off a hunch, oh, that guy seems important, kind of thing.
Okay. Cool. That sounds like a good plan. And I'll just find my fancy list of skills and see what.
I mean, shadowing is a skill.
Yeah, but you'll have.
Do you actually have a fancy list of
Yes,
skills?
it is fancy because it's mine and I have it.
That's. I'm not sure if I should be a little bit disappointed that you have a fancy list of skills and the rest of us just have to make do with a regular old boring list of skills. Clearly there's a difference
There
here.
is. I'm the GM. You're not.
No.
Okay, so because I get the sense that you're trying to be discreet about this. You're trying to make
Yes.
use of your fancy powers to get lost in a crowd and all that. I'm going to have to ask you to roll me a concealment test.
Whoa, ninja!
Yes, and let's see. To do that, I just click the number.
Yes, you should.
Right?
You should be able to do that.
Do I get any modifiers, or do they get the -20 on the spot?
They get the -20.
Oh dear.
Okay, so since this is an opposed test, it's not an entirely bad result. Not necessarily, at least. Especially since they get their minus.
They have, they get -20.
Yep.
That's.
And Medea, a concealment test for you.
Why?
If you're trying to be all concealed and stealthy and discreet about what it is you're doing, I'm going to need a concealment test from you.
But, what?
I'm guessing
I
you
have
did not
to
hear
hide.
what I said.
You want us to hide?
No, I want us to discreetly observe
Yes.
the preacher, and if someone who looks important approaches, we will shadow them to find out what they're doing and where they're
That
going.
was at least Tim's suggestion, and I didn't hear any objections. But if there is anything you'd like to do
I
instead,
figured it was his approach because last time we had different.
that's actually
approaches
true.
As well,
That's a
but
good point. That's a
fine.
good point.
Let me screw it up for you.
No.
If you have another approach,
Yes.
please, by all means.
What then is Medea doing to acquire the or to find the people they need to find?
Well, she blends pretty well, and workers apparently kind of like her for some odd reason. I don't know why she ate a couple of them, but I don't think that's it.
Nope.
It's rubbed off.
She
on her.
will,
Like,
you know, walk in and listen to what they're talking about, not overtly listening, but walking around and, you know, listening to people talking around her. And once she finds someone talking about the right kind of stuff, maybe a little hush-hush, she will go over and pretend she's interested. Like, ooh, where would you go to hear more about this interesting stuff you call heresy?
It might actually be good with a two-pronged approach.
Yes.
Mhm.
It were last time.
Yep. Okay.
Indeed it was. Indeed it was.
And I guess it's perception. First, to even find people talking about the right
Yes,
stuff.
awareness. That would be the skill you roll for this.
And I have extra for that because I have unlocked it.
Yes.
Yay!
Okay. So Tim first.
At least it was a success.
Actually, it's minus
It's not.
0.3 degrees of success, so it's actually not a success.
Damn it!
You can re-roll it if you want.
But Tim, you try to blend in with the crowd. These thousands of workers passing by as they go to and from the manufactorums, and I'll just do this, and I shall do this, and that is not good.
Ooh.
Okay.
That's not good.
Well, it's not good for someone. Okay, so Tim, you like I said, you start blending in with the crowd, and you don't feel anyone's observed you or noticed your presence there.
That's good.
Yeah,
No gaze upon you.
exactly.
Yeah, keep all them gays away.
Yeah, I was just waiting for it.
You did say it like that, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
So that's the first part of your of what you're trying to accomplish. Blending in with the crowd. You as far as you can tell, you succeeded. You don't feel anyone staring at you, holding a gun to your face, asking what the hell you're doing.
It's always nice not to be held.
Right? I mean, yeah, it really is.
It's a super, super nice feeling to not have a gun in your face.
Yes. And as I understood it, your next the next part is to scope out the street preachers, who are, as you said, easy to find. And
yes, and then, well, in this case, Medea is having a different approach. So perhaps Shadow, if she's taken somewhere,
okay,
since she expressed interest, it might be good if I'm able to assist her from afar.
okay, so basically keep an eye on Medea, see where she's going, and if she's going anywhere, then follow her.
Yes, and also if she's being followed by someone, follow them.
Okay. Interesting. Then we'll hop over to Medea. Medea, you've taken a different approach to this.
Yeah.
And
What
There's
is
a
going
slight-
on?
Yeah, there's a slight amount of echo in the background, like television or something.
It sounds like a television being on.
it's not on my end.
Let me try my end. Let me try muting a second.
Yep, that
Yep.
killed it.
It's dead.
Stop watching television.
Not watching television though. What happened? I think I knocked my microphone slightly against my mouth. So
Oh,
Or not cool, but yeah.
I'll just mute for now until I'm needed.
Okay, so Medea, you rolled an awareness test, and you failed the test. The thing is, though,
Yeah, I want to re-roll it.
you want to re-roll it. Okay.
Yeah. You don't find what you're looking for. If
whoa!
Never mind. I roll a 96. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Never mind. I didn't re-roll. I am going home now.
Actually, you
Bye.
kind of did re-roll. So, okay.
I don't like this dice roller. Can I have a new one?
Nope.
Screw you, Harry.
Yeah, I know. Bad GM. Okay, so you don't find what it is you're looking for. You don't.
Oh, I'm imagining Tim going, no, he's right. You went past him.
Yep. But you do have a backup plan to fall back on, which is basically the street preachers that Tim focused on, or intended to focus on. So you could always check those out, because I'm sure
Sure.
Tim mentioned this. You've been discussing your approach, I imagine.
Yeah, we have.
So you do know that that's something Tim was planning on. You don't see him, or does she? Does Tim try to hide himself from Medea as well?
In the sense that he's trying to be discreet in general,
Yeah.
not actively from her.
No.
And I think if it gets too unbearable, he will appear, discreetly next to her and say, "That guy." Probably in a less annoyed tone.
Yeah. So
And if he comes up from behind, he will get something in the face and he won't like it. He's just like, ah! Slap.
well, so the thing is that Tim can clearly see that Medea isn't having much luck finding what she's looking for, and so there is that. He does notice her as he follows her, that she's further up the street. There is one of these street preachers, and she's walking toward this street preacher.
Is this? I have to say, is this a U2 moment?
A U2 moment.
Yes, because you still haven't found what you're looking for.
Gah.
Joan. No.
I'm sorry.
No, just
Somebody put new batteries in me. I'm sorry.
But yeah, Medea is walking toward this street preacher further up the street, and eventually, Medea, unless Tim wants to do something, you do reach the street preacher, and he's spouting the same nonsense that you've heard a few times now. A slightly heretical version of the Imperial Creed, yeah.
Well,
it's not like it's not like every other word he's saying is heresy.
No, but does people go over and talk with him like, oh, and then he gives them something and they walk off, or is it just him preaching and not stopping for anything?
For a while, it's just him preaching, and the people just.
Well, Medea stops and looks like she's kind of interested.
Okay, that.
Watching someone preach on the sidewalk, like, you caught my interest, ish.
Okay. Well, that catches his attention, and he focuses on you, Medea, as he continues to spout his nonsense, and so
she can already feel the ick inside.
Yeah, and Tim, you can see Medea standing there, looking like she's actually interested in what he has to say. This street preacher.
In that case, I observe him.
You used
and
deception
the people
for
around.
that, right?
What did you say, Medea?
You used deceit
Yes,
for that, don't
I was
you?
just about to say you need to roll a deceive test for me.
Is he a worker? Or is he underworld?
He's not a worker specifically, but I would say that the your peer trait qualifies here.
Fuck!
Well, isn't it an opposed roll?
It is because
Yeah, I'm gonna try again, just because I can't be fucking unlucky every time.
Oh no, that's better.
it is better because it is an opposed roll. So
Still!
yeah.
I had to roll under 61. I rolled 62. You gotta be fucking kidding me.
So
You gotta be. Oh.
so the thing is, he doesn't quite buy it.
Damn.
Exactly my point. I rolled 62.
Maybe
It's just.
maybe you're looking a bit too interested. Maybe whatever the case, something.
The clothing is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
This is weird.
Yeah,
You are making me feel icky, and I don't like you.
Yep.
Fuck, did he see that? Yeah, he did.
Something makes him nervous, and he stops his preaching. He stops screaming, which he's basically been doing to try to be heard over the constant buzz that fills the area. And he gets down from where he's standing upon a makeshift podium, and he gets down and starts moving down the street.
I guess this wasn't all bad then. Did we have what they called vox speeds?
Microbeats.
I'm not. I think microbeats was something we got last time, wasn't it? I'm not sure.
No,
actually.
but I think it would make sense. The first time you went down into this, actually, you didn't.
Yeah.
So you've learned from your mistake, I'd say.
Okay. So we have microbeats.
Yes, you have microbeats.
In that case, and they just, communicate sound to all of us.
Well, not their reach isn't that great. So
the reach is about
A mile.
1.5 kilometers. Yeah, a mile.
I don't think it's.
Well, I assume you and Accolon are that close.
I don't think
within
it's
that
quite
distance.
that close. But let's check it just to be sure, because
Just to be on the safe side. Well, the point being that if this is the normal kind of district you would think of in a hive city, we could be 15 kilometers away with no difficulty.
Yes.
Well, I assumed at least we would be scoping out roughly in the same area.
Let's see.
So that's the part of the problem, is that if we're in roughly the same area, we're too close to each other. Then we Accolon and I are too conspicuous.
Right.
Well, I thought you wanted to be conspicuous to make people nervous.
Well, but we also want to make people say, "Oh, but they're over there."
Oh, yes, of course.
So not to.
Well, if it works or not, Sim uses it and says, Medea managed to scare a priest. I'll initiate shadowing.
Okay.
And then he shadows the priest.
Medea hears this. There's a bit of crackling in the in the signal due to the local. There's an interference due to the smog and the general eakiness of the air.
Yes.
But the message does get across to Medea. But so at least Medea knows that Tim's following her, or is he? Roll that shadowing.
He's not following Medea. He's following.
Well,
the priest.
that's yeah. Sorry, that's what I meant. So roll me
Roll
shadowing. Meanwhile, Medea. Shadowing.
Or the shadowing.
I would very much like to re-roll that one.
Ouch.
You're burning through your fate points.
Well, some of us haven't really had a chance to roll.
No, that's true.
Fuck's sake.
I'm
No,
sorry.
but that is still an opposed
Yes,
roll.
it is an opposed roll.
Because he has to notice, and he gets -20.
Yes.
Yeah. Still, a minus 5.2 was a little more than I wanted.
Oh yeah. But -5.5 isn't awful.
It's a 45. 62.
You
I
guys-
don't like it.
You guys have had the worst luck on rolls so far.
Yes.
Well, my
I'm
shadowing
just
is
gonna
40.
Go home and go to bed. This isn't working.
Medea.
The clothing must be different.
What does Medea do?
Sulks.
Well, other than sulking, because I think that's a given.
It's just. Right, you did see the disgust painted in my face. I should never have gotten defect clothing. What do I do now?
Well, that's the question.
The thing is, I can't really follow him without being seen.
Well, you can try.
Yeah, I'm not trying. You see how I'm rolling tonight.
Yeah, I've seen your rolls.
If you want,
And you
Tim
have
can
to
chime
roll
in with some
half.
more.
So you kind of have to roll below 20 to have a, actual chance because it's half. And it's just, no, I'm not even
Okay.
gonna try.
That's up to.
In that case, may I add
Yes.
something? I think he'll hear the crackling of the voice thingy again, as Tim says, Medea, perhaps you should try another preacher. If you're up for going alone.
She stops, then tries to activate the thing because she's not entirely sure how it works. She has seen it and they have shown her, but this is the first time she's actually using
That's
one.
a good point.
And then she answers, well, next time I might actually make him pee in his pants too.
Well, also, I imagine it's basically voice activation, like some of you do with Discord.
Yes.
So as soon as you start speaking, there'll probably be half a second delay, and then.
Wouldn't that be inconvenient if you were having a conversation with someone else?
Oh, I imagine it's something you can toggle, so that you don't.
Anyway,
Might be
she
easy
goes for
to
another
push the ball
preacher.
then.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
One that didn't see what just
Yeah.
happened.
So she tries finding another. Well, like I said, they hang out at every corner, so it's really not that difficult to find another street
but-
preacher. So
All of them is probably not, preaching the same kind of heretical
that's
stuff. Or are they?
no, that's a good point. Most of the street preachers are totally legit, preaching the Imperial Creed as maybe some variant of it, but nothing that comes close to heresy.
But in an approved
Yes.
variation, there are approved variations.
Yes, there are
after
many
all.
approved variations of the Imperial Creed.
Yes, they are improved as well, incidentally.
Approved, improved, improved, all of it.
Yeah. Okay. So you head on over to another street preacher. We'll go to see what Sister Francesca and Acolon are doing for a bit, and then we'll return to you guys later. So, Sister Francesca and Acolon, what are you doing?
Yes. Well, when they get back to the same general sort of area, Francesca looks at Accolon and says, "Do you have something you specifically want to try?"
Korean barbecue.
Very funny. I must confess, I don't. I'm still only coming into the fullness of my potential. I do not know if I have anything that would be useful in.
But Accolon, I am not your confessor. You said I must confess.
Even when she's attempting a joke, it's kind of awkward.
Accolon looks up to the skies and says, "O blessed Emperor, I thank thee for gifting unto me the only sister of battle with a sense of humour this side of..."
This side of Holy Terror.
Yes, this side of Holy Terror, yes.
She looks a little dejected. Here she is trying to be funny and it's falls flat.
To which Accolon looks back at her and says, "I was being sincere."
Okay, thank you. Well, what I would like to do is, as I said, we need to be seen, and we need to be seen by people who don't really want us to be here. And as far as I'm concerned, the best way we can do that is to go back to begin by going back to the cathedral, because that is where the whole thing went down, obviously.
Yes.
So if we go back there and make a bit of a showing of actually being there and being particularly interested in it, I'm sure that the Arbites are already swarming all over the place, but that doesn't mean we can't look, at least from the outside. It should help, and then we can always walk from there as long as we stick to the major thoroughfares. Heine, there are shops and so on in this area, right?
Yes, there are shops.
Markets
Yep.
and so on. Yes, all right. Well, I figured. I mean, even downtrodden working masses need a few necessities now and again. So all right. So we will stick to the main streets where you find that kind of thing, and basically, in my opinion, what we need to do is look like. This is going to sound weird. I want us to look like we think we know what we're doing. Here we are patrolling, looking really big and intimidating, and in your case, really weird and intimidating. And of course, by sticking to the main roads, these guys aren't going to be there. They're probably going to go to areas like the ones our friends are searching. That's my hope, anyway.
True. So, shall I simply stare at people intently, or should I offer to tell people their fortunes, maybe?
No, not that. Just, go around and make sure that people can see the dagger, the one with the, what's it called? I can't remember. Out of character.
My mercy blade.
Yes, your mercy blade. Make sure people can see your mercy blade. Make sure that you look psycherish.
Accolon pulls back the hood of his coat so that you could see.
Yes.
Yeah, basically I've described it as having ginger hair, but the only hair he's got is sort of around the front, like a fringe, and then everything from the top of the scalp back is just bald with piping coming out of it. It's quite sad.
She's adorably excited.
Yes, this is brilliant. This is exactly what I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Look big and dangerous.
Yes. Now, I should probably pick up my helmet from the box when we get back next time. If nothing else, it makes me look more impersonal. Anyway, let's.
Yes.
let us, by all means, and of course, she makes sure to walk with her bolter is hanging on her. She's got it on a strap, on a belt, sort of over her shoulder. That's the normal way to carry it, I guess. And she is literally patrolling, holding the flamer in her hands, up, in front of her, basically, so that people can see how armed and dangerous and everything. Because let us be big and conspicuous and make and make people buzz.
Okay.
Yeah, Akalon will alternate between walking alongside her and sort of going just far enough away that it looks like he's doing his own thing and pretending to look like he's investigating near to her without actually getting out of sight. Yes. And does his best to look, dare I use the word, imperious.
Yes.
Okay.
And then, indeed, and then first, walk over to, across the great big square that we were on, and then towards the cathedral, and at least spend some time there, making sure that everybody gets to see us, and again, I don't really expect that they see that many sanctioned psychers, or for that matter, that many Sisters of Battle.
No, they don't. They do. There's it's House of Battle, so there's always, well, not always, but inquisitorial agents aren't rare exactly here, nor are the arbiters, but. Still a Sister of Battle, and even if they've seen a psyker or two in their lifetime, it's a psyker.
It's scary, no matter what, and power armor is always gonna be intimidating, no matter what you do.
Yes,
it never ends well when there's someone in power armor around. So, at least
clunking their way around the city streets.
Yes. Okay. So, do you go together or do you split up?
At least at first, I think we should go together. Okay. And if we do split up at any point, we should not be far apart. We should be, no more than half a street away from each other or something, because we need to be able to come to each other's aid on a moment's notice.
Okay. Okay. Excellent. Well, as you reach the square, you notice that your hunch was correct. It's crawling. The cathedral is crawling with arbiters. It's basically on lockdown. No one's getting in or out, for that matter, without the arbiters.
And I don't have any intention of challenging that or trying to get in or anything. I'm just I just want to walk over there and stand outside as near as I can get and look, menacing, basically. Look at me, ooh, spooky.
Could you give me a scrutiny test, Sister Francesca?
I'm sure. Yeah, I can. Let's try it another way. I can try. Yes, I can try and roll under my 14.
Okay.
Mine is okay.
Okay.
That's
okay. So
I'm mildly impressed.
You're not having the best of luck today, I have to say.
No, I have 14 scrutiny.
Well, it's not that bad a roll, actually. It just okay. So you walk around. You approach the cathedral, looking all imperious as was mentioned, and there's a buzz in the air almost immediately, as people start recognizing the power armored Sister of Battle and the psyker accompanying her, because they all remember the public execution that happened. Lethal punishment isn't extraordinary as such, but the circumstances of the public execution was
pretty unique and extreme. Yes.
And so people start talking, people or whispering, as it is, and no one points fingers because they don't want any unwanted
They don't want the
attention.
fingers yanked
No,
off. Yeah.
exactly. But it's clear to both Sister Francesca and Accolon that people are talking, and people it does have an effect, their presence.
Good. That is the point. I mean, it doesn't really matter to Francesca whether people are afraid or if they are, impressed, or if they are a little bit of both, or it doesn't really make a difference to her. The point is that it has an effect, and the point is that people are in fact buzzing and whispering, because over the next maybe half an hour,
Yes.
people who are currently on the marketplace and who are seeing this and who are now buzzing will have left the marketplace, and they will go home or go to their workplace or whatever, and they will say, "Oh my goodness, they're back," and word of mouth.
Yes. Excellent. Cool. Okay. So you spend some time doing this, walking
Yes.
through the sector, through the main thoroughfares,
Mhm.
and
Probably royally annoying the arbiters at the same time, by the way. Not that at least Francesca isn't doing anything, but simply the fact that she and Accolon are there after the last
Yes.
time, I do kind of imagine that the arbiters are not terribly pleased to have them back in the sector.
they don't show it, but there's absolutely no doubt that Sister Francesca's and Accolon's presence is unwanted. But again, they don't do anything overt to show their
No.
displeasure, but yeah, it's there. And do you split up at some point?
At some point, it might be an idea. What do you say, Chris? Out of character, do you think?
I'd say, yeah, I suppose depends where we split up to and for how long.
Yeah, as I said, as long as we stay within Vox speed distance of each other and then some. I mean, be as I said, close enough that if you suddenly hear me starting to open fire, then you can, come a running, and vice versa.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Sounds reasonable.
So you split up, but stay close.
Yes.
At least.
Yes.
And otherwise, at least for Francesca's sake, she simply continues the same MO. She is just there to be noticed and be, terrifying to heretical street preachers, because death by vulture.
the thing,
flavor.
yeah, death by nasty
Something.
stuff.
Yes. Death by ick.
Death by ick. The thing about these street preachers is that none of them stick around whenever you're close by. They all pack up shop and leave the area. Well, not all of them, because as we determined before, there are some legit street
That are
preachers.
legit, yes.
They don't pack
Yes.
up, but
Of course not. They have no reason
no,
to.
they don't have no reason to. But it's clear that some of them do move away from the area, specifically because you
Yes.
because they
I
spot you.
think, just to be a complete bitch about this, because she doesn't like them, she actually makes a, she spots one of them and then just tries to catch, one of them. It doesn't matter which one of them, but if she can catch the eye of any of these assholes, just let her eyes follow him for maybe 3 or 4 seconds, not letting go of the eye contact, and then she changes direction and starts walking towards him.
So
She's not running, just walking.
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Well, she might not be running, but the man is shitting his pants and running everything.
Okay.
He's ruining his pants and leaving a long strip of brown after him.
Yep, long yellow streak of piss.
So we're coming up on our first break, and when we
Yes.
get back, we'll see what this stream preacher does. Be right back.
Yes.